decadent bread, we start with melted butter. 1 stick is fine for a serving of 3.
Callers think that requirement is fair.
Bad enough that you're trying to be killed by your enemy, let alone have to take the chance of possibly being killed, by the guy right next to you. I know I wouldn't want to be in the same foxhole while he's laying there bleeding and me not with nowhere to go because I'm being pinned down by fire.
Much of the military's assignments are to peacekeeping missions, and someone testing positive is not deployable on these missions. HIV-positive members can no longer do the job of the military, and so they should be discharged.
I have sympathy for anyone with HIV or AIDS. However, I think all military personnel should be in the topmost physical and mental health.
I think in some cases they should. It depends on what type of work that they might be doing in battle, where they might have a risk of injuring themselves and maybe causing a risk to others. But if they're in a job where the risk is minimal, as far as where it's having an injury that might cause transference of the virus, then I don't believe they should be expelled just for having it.
I don't think that anyone with AIDS or any other disease should be let into the military. I think only the most healthy people should be allowed to die for our country.
And thanks for the calls. We've talked a lot about appearance in schools on Talkback. A school district in Colorado is considering a dress code and says it would improve academic performance. If the dress code is adopted, jeans and casual wear would be outlawed. By the way, we're not talking about the students, we're talking about the teachers. The head of the Teachers Association says teachers who wear jeans to class hurt the public image of the teaching profession. On tonight's Talkback, we ask you, should there be a dress code for school teachers to follow? Talk back now at 698-1810. Your comments Tuesday on Live at 5.
Credit announces the Great Percent event, slashing interest rates to just 4.8% APR for 48 months, or choose $600 cash back on a purchase or $600 back on a red carpet lease. It's your choice on 10 1996 models, including Ford Taurus, Ford Contour, Ford Probe, Ford Windstar, Ford Escort, and more. But 4.8% financing or $600 cash back won't last forever. The Great Percent event at your Ford dealer now. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Last month there was a fire in town. Now, as much as everybody tried to save the Coopers' home, it was destroyed. Well, everyone got out, but nothing went untouched. I'm the Coopers' independent Pekin insurance agent, but I'm a homeowner and a father too, so I know how important it is to process a claim quickly. Fortunately, their homeowner's policy was up to date, and their coverage also provided for payment of temporary living expenses. Well, when I told the Coopers that everything was taken care of, it really struck close to home. I felt good about being able to help people out when they really needed it.
Get full circle service from your hometown professionals.
In Peoria or Pekin, talk to Julie Campbell at the Clifton Strode Insurance and Real Estate Agencies. In Bartonville, contact Merlin Lambie or Mike Vollmer at Bartonville Insurance. See Bob Summer, Mark Swisher, Ernie Rosecrans, or Jackie Mason at Summer & Associates in Washington for full circle service with Pekin Insurance.
Okay, it's real simple. Just call me at the number on your screen. And if we don't install your cable within 24 hours, you get your installation for free. It's TCI's sweetest deal. When you call, ask about our Cable Extra package. We offer a variety of channels, including 2 premium channels, Stars and Encore, for just $24.99 a month. You can also choose from HBO, Cinemax, or Disney, and get 2 for $10. So call right now. This offer good for 3 days only.
I'm Tom Brokaw. It is astonishing but true. These pigs could one day save thousands of lives. What is this science fiction dream about to become a reality? An exceptional health watch, only on NBC Nightly News Tonight.
Here's a look at our headlines tonight at 5. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up for a 6th consecutive day. The record Dow now above 5,600. GOP officials are expecting a record turnout for tonight's Iowa caucuses. Bob Dole still considered the frontrunner in Iowa. And if you need some information on state services, it's a little bit easier now. The state Secretary of State's office is online. Coming up at 6 on News 25, Twin City residents upset over how the power company is trimming their trees. Adam Nielsen takes a look at that problem. Plus, Peoria Salvation Army did not reach its fundraising goal. We'll look if this means cuts in its programs. And we'll look at an art class that is benefiting kids as well as teachers. We get more on that story from Christine Zach in the newsroom. Chris?
That's right, Mike. A Peoria artist is helping teachers and students at St. Thomas School understand art. Through grants, the school has been able to bring in artist Jenny Bateman. Bateman will be teaching each class the 6 basic elements of design, but she's also helping the teachers feel comfortable with teaching art, which can be intimidating to some. On tonight's Kids Nowadays, we'll see how art can help students improve on their other skills as well. Hope you'll join us at 6.
All right, Chris, we'll see you at 6. Finally tonight, just 2 days away, looking for that special gift for your Valentine. You don't have to say it with candy or flowers. One Arizona company is offering something that is out of this world. For $50, you can name a galaxy after your sweetheart. An Arizona observatory has official numbers for the galaxies in astronomical catalogs. They've decided, hey, we can make money on this. The galaxy now could have a name next to the number. The company will also provide detailed charts on how to find your galaxy in the sky. Of course, it can only be seen with a telescope. And by the way, while they're making money, that is not included in the $50 fee. That does it for us. Nightly News is next. We hope you have a good evening.
It's decision time in Iowa, and Bob Dole is feeling confident. The rest of the field fights for second place and survival. NBC News in depth. The Christian conservatives of Iowa, how they got to be so politically powerful, what it could mean for the nation. And another kind of campaign opens today, a campaign against kids and smoking. This one is rich and ambitious. And the dark world of a shooter. Why didn't someone stop him before he killed 5 in Fort Lauderdale?
From NBC News, this is a special edition of NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Reporting tonight from Des Moines, Iowa.
Good evening from the Counting Center in Des Moines, Iowa. And tonight, after all of the speeches, all of the television commercials, all of the talk show speculation, the real people finally have their turn. Iowa's Republican voters will gather in places like this Des Moines Junior High to begin the process of picking their presidential favorites this evening. This is not a primary, but it is the first significant test of the crowded Republican field. And for most of the candidates, tonight is less about winning than it is about survival. Second or third here can be a triumph. Senator Bob Dole is expected to finish first. After that, who knows? NBC's Gwen Eiffel on the final frantic day.
Folks, this morning on WHO Radio, speaking with all of the presidential candidates.
It's all over, but the shouting. The Republican candidates for president had little else to do today but court radio listeners and television cameras.
Is this a TV convention?
Bob Dole grew teary-eyed when a radio host played the song he listened to repeatedly while recovering from war injuries half a century ago.
I guess it was sort of an inspiration because back at that time I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
And but that every day, play it, play it, play it.
In his final appeal to Iowa voters, Dole acknowledged his own political shortcomings.
Maybe I cannot offer you eloquence, but I can offer the common sense of a lifelong Midwestern public servant.
The other candidates virtually tripped over each other in one last burst of campaigning.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Steve Forbes stepped up his efforts to look like a regular guy, reading a fairy tale to school children.
I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can.
The real race here is to run number 2 to Dole.
Can you find any voters in here?
Let's go back. I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best.
Well, I think we can win.
This is the pace at which we started about a year ago. We speeded up a little bit.
For other candidates, this is probably as fast as the treadmill will ever get. Relatively few voters attend these caucuses, but they're important because they help weed out the field. 9 candidates came to Iowa. Only 3, perhaps 4, will leave here with their presidential hopes alive. Voters are looking forward to getting on with it.
One vote can make a difference. I believe that.
But there are other things happening here this week beside politics. Valentine's Day, for instance.
We got to get our flowers ready.
Which is just as well. Tomorrow, politicians will drop Iowa like an old lover. Moving on to the next romance, February 20th in New Hampshire. Gwen Eiffel, NBC News, Des Moines.
What happens here tonight is a little unusual. It's really a series of small town halls where neighbors gather to argue for their candidates and issues. So the campaigns have to get their people to the right place with the right arguments. And organization is the key. NBC's David Bloom on the War Rooms.
Daybreak, 7:30 a.m. A Dole staffer hard at work.
And I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of your caucus location.
23-year-old Monty Shaw still trying to convince Dole supporters to trudge out tonight and vote.
It really takes neighbors calling neighbors, saying, hey, come on, we'll go together.
For all the media hype, the advertising hype, it takes a strong organization to win in Iowa. Bob Dole supporters have each received 4 or 5 phone calls in recent days urging them to vote.
Oh, I'm having so much fun.
Monty Shaw has been at it virtually round the clock for 9 months. He's one of 6 Dole field representatives in charge of organizing 28 counties in southern Iowa.
Excuse us. Just get 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night.
Go back to Saturday morning when the final sprint began.
All right, here we go. Folks, we're moving.
Dole is coming to a farm in Shaw's territory because his TV ads alone won't get out the votes.
It's really the ground war that has made the difference in Iowa.
We've got to get them to the caucus because
back in Des Moines, Jennifer Sowers is at Lamar Alexander's headquarters.
And would you be supporting Lamar if you were in attendance?
Sowers is only working part-time, but her mission is daunting. Deliver the moderate Republican voters of West Des Moines.
Hi, Annabelle.
Alexander has been in Iowa 80 days, far more than any rival, but he's badly outgunned. The Dole campaign has nearly 6,000 volunteers, people in every single precinct. And Saturday, they bust in 2,000 more volunteers from out of state to work the phone.
I have spent on the bus for 12 hours.
Now it's Sunday, 1 day to go.
Let's get a nice line of phones going here.
The voice is going. We've been distributing stuff around. And
so the more names we get cranked out today, the sooner you get to go home. So that's like
Shaw, the young veteran, hard at work. Sowers, in her first campaign, greeting Alexander supporters. One last pre-caucus rally.
Hi, how are you? It's fine. Would you like a sticker tonight?
Yes.
we are really ready for this.
So too is the opposition.
I'm pretty confident that we are going to get our troops out.
Okay, confident, but working the phones until the very end. David Bloom, NBC News, Des Moines.
Calling to make sure that you.
For a change, the Democrats don't have a contest for their presidential nomination, so Bill Clinton was able to come here over the weekend and make several standing room only appearances praising his own record. When we continue, Iowa's power brokers, the Christian right, casting a very powerful shadow here and well beyond. NBC News in depth tonight. Later, warning signs from a workplace massacre.
He said he would kill. He was always going to get his gun and kill somebody. That's what he did.
The mind of a killer revealed. Why wasn't he kept from killing?
Take a good look through Transitions lenses. The lightweight plastic prescription lenses with a special tint that lightens and darkens as the light changes. Lightweight plastic lenses that darken and lighten just like that. It's comfort you can see, day or night, outside or inside. Ask for Transitions lenses.
Available at Pearl Vision. Call 1-800-YES-EYES for the Pearl Vision near you.
Just because she's gone to Mother's doesn't mean you have to suffer. Hey, there's chunky soups and chowder. You can feed yourself without her. Great big chunks of hearty victuals. Now you've solved that dinner riddle. Campbell's Chunky, soup that eats like a meal.
Hey, you.
Who, me?
Look what Betty Crocker's whipped up. A richer than rich brownie bar.
Ooh.
That's totally fat-free.
Fat-free?
You heard me. Now all the best of Betty's in a fat-free, ready-to-eat brownie. New sweet rewards.
Betty ought to get a reward for these.
All right, we're going low-fat, fresh turkey, lettuce, tomato on wheat. What? No Hellmann's.
Now you can eat low-fat and still have great taste with Hellmann's low-fat mayonnaise dressing. It tastes so delicious you won't believe it has only 1 gram of fat.
What? No Hellmann's?
Hellmann's low-fat mayonnaise dressing.
Bring out the Hellmann's and bring out the best.
A major new offensive was launched today in the war against teenage smoking, taking aim at the tobacco industry. This time, a new organization with millions of dollars at its disposal and a mission. More tonight from NBC's Bob Kerr.
No group ever has brought more money and muscle to the fight against Joe Camel and other marketing gimmicks that may entice kids to smoke. The new National Center for Tobacco-Free Kids starts with at least $30 million, mainly from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and the American Cancer Society. Today at the White House, President Clinton welcomed the new effort in a meeting with anti-smoking activists, including high school students.
It will involve the best national experts, but more importantly, community groups, all kinds of grassroots groups of people working together to try to deal with this issue.
$30 million means anti-smoking ads, now only in print, will be done for TV and radio. It means financial and legal help for states trying to combat a 30% increase in smoking among 8th graders. And organizers say it means taking aim with new ads against Congress, which received at least $2 million tobacco dollars in the last election.
Everybody understands that tobacco is addictive, that it kills people. And so what they're trying to do is pour more money into the political process to do the best they can to protect the status quo.
The industry argues it has a right to sell its product.
They want to do more than just restrict advertising. They want to ban it altogether.
This campaign against teen smoking is driven by a government estimate that 3 million American teens are smoking, and that 1/3 of them eventually will die tobacco-related deaths. Bob Kerr, NBC News, Washington.
Digging out and drying off kept people busy in the Pacific Northwest today. Receding floodwaters made it possible for residents to finally size up the damage and to tackle the monumental job of cleaning up. President Clinton will tour this disaster area on Wednesday. On Wall Street today, no disaster there. The Dow surging to yet another record, just clearing the 5,600 mark in very heavy trading. The NASDAQ was up today as well. When Nightly News continues from Iowa, the Christian Coalition, a powerful force in presidential politics. Who are the people creating such a thunder on the right?
Claritin.
It's time. It's time.
Don't wait another minute for Claritin.
Claritin. I'll ask my doctor.
It's time to see your doctor.
Mr. Wilkin, the doctor will see you now.
At last, a clear day is here.
I want to know more about Claritin.
The doctor will
Yes,
see you
ask
now.
your doctor for a trial of Claritin. For free information and a $5 coupon toward a prescription for Claritin, call 1-800-CLARITIN.
Chances are it will outlast your car, and your furnace, and your roof. There's no telling what your Moen faucet might outlast. Moen. Buy it for looks. Buy it for life.
Red Lobster introduces Seafood Pounders, a heaping pound of shrimp served in 3 delicious ways. A pound of crab or a 1-pound lobster dinner. Now at special prices. Hurry in for Seafood Pounders, only at Red Lobster.
As sure as the sun will rise across America, the families that travel will have one common need: to be safe. That's why so many American families put their trust in Buick LeSabre. In fact, they've made LeSabre the best-selling full-size car in America 4 years in a row. Buick LeSabre, the American family car.
NBC News in-depth tonight, the political power of the Christian conservatives, which has been developing rapidly here in Iowa. That may be a harbinger of what's to come in other states around the country. The television evangelist Pat Robertson started the movement here when he ran for president 8 years ago. And now those Christian activists represent 40% of the Iowa GOP, and they have been setting the agenda for tonight's caucuses. Who are they? What drives them? Watch.
Lord, we thank you for this food, for this beautiful weather today.
Steve and Carmen Koff represent the new power within the Iowa Republican Party. Steve is an accountant at a trucking firm in Des Moines. Carmen, a housewife and mother of 4. He's a precinct leader for Phil Graham. Carmen is a board member of Iowans for Life.
The pro-life issue is the most important issue to me.
My faith is where I get my worldview.
The Crofts and their fellow Christian conservatives are so politically powerful here, it is impossible to win the Iowa caucuses without their support. So when the Christian conservatives organized a rally against legalizing gay marriages, the leading candidates signed up.
We're going to bring back the God of the Bible. I will overturn Bill Clinton's pro-abortion agenda. I find the name of God writ large on the foundation stone of this country's life.
Members of the Christian Coalition and others who share their beliefs are everywhere a candidate appears in Iowa.
You have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ.
I was just wondering what you believe about God.
Does your definition of the family include same-sex marriage?
Steve and Carmen Koff say it shouldn't surprise anyone that Christian activists have become so political.
I think it's because people they're getting tired of the morals in this country going downhill, and they're concerned for their kids.
We have some objective moral truths that we believe in, and we don't waver on those, and we think that that's a better way to run a society.
Other people would say to that, well, but you want us to adopt what is your very narrow point of view, and if you get great political power, you'll impose that on the whole country.
We have the same right as everyone else to sell our ideas in the marketplace of ideas. If our ideas don't sell, then they don't sell.
Of course, not all Iowa Republicans agree with the Christian Coalition's agenda, but many of them are impressed with how the Christian Coalition has achieved real political power through hard work, organization, and most of all, by sticking to their principles. Mary Louise Smith, a Des Moines moderate, has been prominent in the Republican Party for most of her adult life.
They have as much right to be in the Republican Party as I have or anybody else has. The thing I don't believe they have a right to do is impose a religious agenda through the political process.
David Yepsen, the state's top political reporter, has watched the Christian conservatives rise to power.
Tolerance is sometimes a dirty word to those people because they believe that the Bible has some very specific admonitions, and you shouldn't be too tolerant of anything that deviates from that.
What really outrages you when you hear people criticize the Christian Coalition movement?
That we're crazy wackos and we go around thumping our Bible.
Not so long ago, Carmen and Steve were reluctant to talk about their beliefs in public. No more. They've learned the power of passion plus political organization, and it is now as much a part of their lives as their Christian faith. What are the national ramifications of all of this? Joining me now to discuss that and this movement is Tim Russert, Washington Bureau Chief and moderator of Meet the Press. Tim, it's not just in Iowa where the Christian conservatives are having a real impact politically.
Tom, you cannot be nominated by the Republican Party for president without the support of Christian conservatives. It's not only in Iowa, as you say. Look forward to South Carolina and Florida and Texas and Georgia. Christian conservatives will account for about 40% of the vote in each of those states.
And Bill Clinton's going to have to pay homage to their values as well, isn't he, in the fall?
Is he ever, Tom? The President's State of the Union message 10 days ago, within the first 30 seconds, he talked about traditional values, about family, about V-chips for parents to block out violent programs, about school uniforms. He knows he must appeal to conservative, middle-class Catholics in Michigan, Ohio, or Illinois, or he will not be reelected. This movement is here to... Tom, this movement is here to stay. This movement is here to stay. It is a potent political force that has out-hustled and out-disciplined the normal political party process.
Is there a danger, however, that they can swing too far across the spectrum and turn off voters, as perhaps Pat Buchanan did with his speech at the Republican convention 4 years ago?
And that's why Ralph Reed of the Christian Coalition is urging his people to be pragmatic, that necessarily you can't have 100% on every issue. It's more important to elect somebody who's with you at least 95% of the time. And that's why you're going to see a lot more pragmatic politics by the Christian conservatives throughout this primary process. Divide their support among several candidates.
Thanks very much. Tim Russert tonight. By the way, the Christian Coalition is expected to be even better organized in the New Hampshire primary, which is a week from tomorrow. Still to come when NBC Nightly News continues the anatomy of a massacre, a chilling story that's left everyone asking the same question. How did this happen?
I thought Well, if I try hard enough, I might be able to get it.
All she did was study.
I just can't get it.
Study.
I hated school.
Study.
I gave up.
That's when we turned to Sylvan for help.
The first thing we give them is self-esteem and confidence.
At Sylvan, Colleen was learning the way Colleen needed to learn.
We have a much happier child now.
I can.
Now I'm getting A's. That's my boy.
At Sylvan, we guarantee to make a difference.
Sylvan Learning Center. Call 1-800-EDUCATE today to be connected to the center nearest you. That's 1-800-EDUCATE.
Nobody does it like you.
For high traffic areas, now there's the deep cleaning power of the new Hoover Steam Vac Deluxe with 5-brush agitator.
Nobody does it like you.
What are you sending?
It's for Carlos.
In California?
It's a book about maturity.
He can't buy a book about maturity?
AT&T True Reach Savings saves you 25% on all kinds of U.S. calls on your AT&T phone bill when you spend just $25 a month.
Even 2,000 miles away, Jimmy. Privacy? I'm gonna call you day and night, every hour.
Every hour? True Reach Savings. That's your true choice, AT&T.
Oh, that cat's got the life. Now she's got this state-of-the-art scoop-away litter that clumps where she wets. They scoop away the clump, bam, the box is fresh and clean. All I get is a rusty hydrant.
Scoop Away, the litter that's day one clean every day.
Good morning, guys.
Just when you think your diarrhea medicine is working.
Oh, boy. What's wrong?
It can let you down. But you can count on Imodium AD to stop diarrhea, often in just one dose, instead of dose after dose, more than a third of a bottle of the pink stuff. And Imodium AD is even better than the leading prescription.
I told you we should have stopped for Imodium AD.
Imodium AD, one dose relief you can count on.
Good evening, I'm Christine Zach. Bloomington Normal residents are more than a little upset about the way Illinois Power Company is trimming their trees. Residents are calling the trimming job a hatchet job, while the company is standing by its standards. Also details on a one-of-a-kind trade school in the state. More on News 25 at 6.
News from around the world tonight. In Britain, Prime Minister John Major responded to Friday's bombing by the IRA with an emergency speech to Parliament and a rare televised speech to the country. He said he is ending negotiations with the IRA and their political wing until they reinstate the ceasefire, saying they must choose the ballot over the bullet.
Friday afternoon.
In Bosnia, 2 Serb officers arrested 2 weeks ago by the Muslim-led government for alleged war crimes today were flown under heavy security to the UN War Crimes Tribunal. They're the highest-ranking officers yet charged by that tribunal. And in northern Italy, a huge rush-hour pileup this morning, 300 cars smashing into each other in a chain reaction that killed 11 and injured hundreds, many seriously. The area's dense fog and the notoriously fast Italian drivers were blamed for this pileup. Now to NBC News Online, beyond the day's headlines. One Republican not on the ballot here tonight is having a good showing elsewhere. That's Abraham Lincoln. In Chicago today, the largest collection ever of Lincoln writings and artifacts open to an enthusiastic public. In Los Angeles, big crowds at a major new Smithsonian exhibition to see the hat that Lincoln is said to have worn the night that he was killed. Back in 1860, Lincoln won his own hotly contested race for the Republican presidential nomination. Despite deep divisions over slavery, Lincoln refused to go negative, saying, "Our policy is to give no offense to others." Today marks Abraham Lincoln's 188th birthday. When we come back, the anguish questions after a murderous rampage. Why were the warning signs ignored?
The last one's left the house. It's just the two of you now. It's time for Create a Meal. It's a great meal without a big hassle. Brown your favorite meat, lay on a hearty measure of Green Giant's fresh-tasting veggies, our delicious Create a Meal sauce, and in 20 minutes, it's dinner, the way it used to be. It's a fresh solution to dinner. Create a Meal.
Ho, ho, ho.
Green Giant.
I always use my favorite steak sauce. It's tradition. Every once in a while, I'm in the mood for something different. Something thick, robust, and hearty. Yeah, all right.
New A1 Thick and Hearty.
If you've been drinking Ensure, there's a little something you should know. Sustacal has more protein, less fat, and about twice as much calcium. No, Sustacal can't add years to your life, but it might help add life to your years.
Breyers has created a spectacular dessert called Viennetta. But this delicious premium ice cream with its crispy chocolatey layers could cause one small problem. Viennetta from Breyers. One slice is never enough.
I don't have one reason you should try Citracel fiber therapy. I have hundreds. From Michigan, a woman writes, "My husband and I have used Metamucil and Citracel. We like Citracel." From Selmer, Tennessee, "Thank you for Citracel. I will never use anything else." Citracel is different, like the fact that other powdered bulk fibers contain psyllium, which can cause excess gas. But Citracel's fiber is as effective without producing gas. Try Citracel. Effective relief without the gas.
A Dateline exclusive. Jane Pauley talks with the sister of Oklahoma City bombing suspect Timothy McVeigh.
If I get called to testify, it's going to be for the prosecution.
Dateline Tuesday.
Here in the heartland of America, there are growing worries about crime and violence. Des Moines had another shooting over the weekend, and even when it's not happening in their communities, voters are hearing more and more about terrible violence elsewhere. Today, for example, an angry former employee fired 40 rounds in a Sacramento, California computer plant. Fortunately, no one was hit. Last Friday in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, it was a different story. Another angry worker with a gun. NBC's Bob Dotson tonight on the anatomy of that shooting. It should not have happened.
The police scene crime ribbons are there with the remains of yesterday's picnics. Just steps from one of the most famous beaches in the world. The crew that usually picks up this trash are mostly dead. 5 men slaughtered last Friday morning as they sipped coffee inside this trailer. Leland Brookins, shot in the stomach, liver, and lungs, managed to call 911 before he fell seriously wounded.
We just had about 7 or 8 guys shot down here by the school employee.
What do you mean they were shot, sir?
Some of them are dead, some are not. Hurry.
Did you get shot, sir?
Yes.
Who did this to you?
The school employee, Cliff McCree. He shot himself. He's dead.
He's dead?
Yes.
41-year-old Clifton McCree, a former Marine sharpshooter, saved the last bullet for himself. The Parks Department had fired McCree for threatening co-workers and being rude to the public.
He had made threats before.
Nancy Ellers was the only person who escaped the trailer uninjured.
He said he would kill. He was always going to get his gun and kill somebody. That's what he did.
14 months to the day after he was fired.
We certainly see a lot of warning signs, and if I could have noticed that kind of thing, we might have been able to warn people and gotten him the kind of help he might have needed.
McCree had a long history of being disciplined for his temper. In 1978, he was suspended for fighting. Police were called. In 1981, he was reprimanded for his anger, suspended again in 1987, and then 1989 for missing work. But not until he failed a drug test in 1994 did he lose his 18-year job.
As soon as these threats or veiled threats were brought to our attention, we offered him counseling.
McCree refused, said his threats were only jokes. Neighbors say the father of 3 young children had a tough time getting work after that.
Every avenue he tried to turn, the doors were shut.
He was behind in his mortgage. His Irma, his wife of 16 years, had lost her job too last October.
The last thing he said to me, I tell the kids that I love them.
The day before the killing, McCree calmly walked into City Hall and asked for his old Parks job back. He didn't get it.
So police say he drove to the beach and waited for the cleanup crew to gather at dawn. He left a suicide note. Since I couldn't continue to support my family, life became nothing, he wrote. I also wanted to punish the cowardly, racist devils that helped bring this about. I'm glad I did it. It became war. McCree bought a weapon like this 9mm semi-automatic handgun last August. Nothing turned up in his records check because he had never been arrested. The purchase was legal, and 5 people were killed. Fort Lauderdale's worst mass murder happened in the workplace. Bob Dotson, NBC News.
That's Nightly News for this Monday night. We will be here through the night, however, to keep you updated on the outcome of the Iowa caucuses. And tonight, we start NBC News Microsoft Decision 96 online. For up-to-the-minute results tonight and the latest on the campaign, you can find it on the Microsoft Network or on the World Wide Web at www.decision96.msn.com. I'm Tom Brokaw. We'll have more on the outcome in Iowa, not only tonight, but tomorrow morning on Today, and I'll see you tomorrow night back in New York for NBC Nightly News.
The world is now watching the NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. NBC News, now more than ever.
Central Illinois News Channel, WEEK TV 25.
What's the difference between tree trimming and tree destruction?
News 25 at 6 with Tom McIntyre, Christine Zach, Lee Ranson's weather, and Lee Hall with sports. This is News 25 at 6.
Good evening. Tom McIntyre is under the weather this evening. Some Bloomington Normal area residents say Illinois Power Company has been cutting a path of tree destruction through the Twin Cities. Adam Nielsen reports.
Liz and Joe Fellons were away in Texas when Illinois Power tree trimmers paid their house a visit. When the Fellons returned, they found part of a prize maple reduced to firewood.
They butchered him. If you take a look at that tree, it's the half. They cut half of it away. It was a beautiful tree and shaded our whole yard.
Like many, the Fellons have signed a petition that condemns Illinois Power for its tree trimming practices. In many Twin City neighborhoods, it's easy to see where IP forestry crews have pruned.
Illinois Power says it has to clear away branches from power lines to prevent outages. The company says it follows proper pruning procedures, but many longtime residents and a former IP tree trimmer say the company's taking a little too much off the top.
Can't believe what they're doing. I really feel that that is just unbelievable clearance. And yet who's going to stop it?
Tree surgeon Bill Jones says excessive trimming weakens trees and makes them susceptible to disease.
Trees are being mutilated, and I don't use that term lightly. This isn't anything that I would want to go on ahead and be associated with in any way.
Jones worked 15 years for Illinois Power before deciding he could no longer trim trees the way his bosses wanted. He says much of the pruning is now farmed out to subcontractors.
The men obviously know what they're doing. There's no doubt about that. But I'm sure that they're hit with the same philosophy that everybody else is. It says if you don't cut it the way we want it, we'll hire somebody in here who will. And I'm proud of Bloomington Normal. I can't understand why the city is condoning this kind of cutting to the trees. If we are a Tree City USA, I wonder how long we're going to be a Tree City USA.
In Bloomington, Adam Nielsen, News 25 at 6.
Police have arrested 2 Bloomington men for racial slurs painted last week at Bloomington High School. 21-year-old Dion Rhodes and 18-year-old Travis Lawrence each face felony hate crimes and vandalism charges. Police say the 2 allegedly spray painted the slur for Negro and the letters KKK on an outside wall of the school. Neither suspect is a BHS student. Police say Rhodes and Lawrence, who are white, argued with a group of black students at the high school hours before painting the graffiti. A case of severe neglect in Chicago has left an elderly lady in critical condition. Her son is in police custody. 72-year-old Wanda Krzyzanowski was discovered over the weekend after neighbors called police complaining of a foul smell coming from the woman's apartment. The woman was in poor condition and was covered with infected bed sores. She could lose her legs. Police are questioning her 33-year-old son. They believe he neglected her and caused her illness. For the first time in its 9-year program history, the Peoria Salvation Army did not meet its goal in the Tree of Lights campaign. The organization set its cash goal at $600,000, but only received 94% of that, $564,000. Funds from the campaign cover an array of programs, including some that provide essential services. Representatives say the results could affect a number of programs down the line.
Well, long term, we would have to look at, for instance, our feeding program that we have 5 days a week. It's a vital need in the community, but it costs us about $250 a day to provide that service, and these are all offered to people that cannot pay.
Officials are blaming the shortage on a nationwide trend that saw less spending and giving by consumers during the Christmas holiday season. Ameritech is now offering telephone customers more choice in long-distance service, and it may be good news for your wallet. Ameritech will now provide long-distance service for cellular customers and will soon extend it to residential customers. The new global network is being touted as state-of-the-art and uses digital processing with fiber optic cables. Representatives believe the system will increase competition, lowering customer rates.
Long distance, what you've seen is as each of the companies have increased rates, the other companies have gone step and lock with them. And with the increased competition, that should drive the rates down for long distance in all the services.
Cellular long-distance service is available to residents in Illinois. Residential service will be made available to customers by the end of the year. Another growth industry these days is the construction business. There will always be a need for welders. The Midwest School of Welding opened its doors today to several students hoping to make a career in that trade. As Fraser Engerman explains, the school is one of a kind in Illinois.
How many schools throw their students right into the work they'll eventually be doing on the first day of class? The Midwest School of Welding and Fabricating is unique. It's the only full-time welding school in Illinois, and it offers students an intensive hands-on experience.
Right. It's 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, and 5 hours of it is welding. So it's an hour of classroom with 5 hours of shop time. We put 720 hours of training into a 6-month period.
Brian Huff is a longtime welder who says many new welders arriving on the job lack the necessary experience. About a year ago, he decided to open his own school and teach the trade the right way. That meant giving up welding full-time to get the school off the ground, and his students like that approach.
Learn more about doing the work that you're going to be doing out in the field instead of, learning the background of welding. You learn how to weld.
One of the reasons Brian Huff decided to set up shop here in Lincoln is its central location, not to mention the fact its close proximity to dozens of area high schools.
So we felt that students that wanted to come here necessarily wouldn't have to live in Lincoln. They could drive it, and I picked it just because of the central locality of Lincoln.
Huff doesn't guarantee his graduates a job upon graduation. He does guarantee they'll have the training to succeed as welders. In Lincoln, Fraser Engerman, News 25 at 6.
Meantime, many schools were closed today because it's Lincoln's birthday. Veterans and residents arrived at Lincoln's tomb to celebrate what would have been Abraham Lincoln's 187th birthday. There was a ceremony outside and then another inside the tomb.
We gather here today to celebrate and commemorate the life of a man who in every way sought for and accomplished the American dream, Abraham Lincoln. Growing up humbly with a lack of formal education, Lincoln taught himself, succeeded by making a way of life by his own merit.
Also today, the Chicago Historical Society celebrated Lincoln's birthday with The Last Best Hope of Earth. It's a display of more than 200 original Lincoln materials, the largest ever assembled. Organizers say the exhibit on the 16th President of the United States promises to draw a crowd. Well, there's more news still to come for Bartonville and all of central Illinois. You can now surf the net to access the state. And on tonight's Kids Nowadays, there's a lot more to art than meets the eye. We'll show you.
And at least we had half a nice weekend anyway. Saturday was nice. Yesterday was more like wintertime, and wintertime's back with us for a few days. We'll have the forecast for you in just a few minutes.
Walt Disney's World on Ice proudly presents Beauty and the Beast. Meet all your favorite friends, hear them sing, see them dance, be enchanted with romance. It's your favorite love story brought to life in person. Beauty and the Beast. Just wait till you see it on ice. Coming to Peoria Civic Center February 14th through 18th. Tickets are on sale at Ticketmaster.
It's good news when a local hero helps families of area hospital patients. It's good news when local heroes volunteer their time so teachers can spend more time with students. It's good news when local heroes across central Illinois take the time to give the gift of life. And it's good news when News 25 at 6 and Nightside takes a few minutes each day to introduce them to you. Local heroes from Central Illinois News Channel. Brought to you by Consolidated Communications. From vision come values.
If you can't get questions about loans off your mind,
maybe a home equity loan.
Relax. Bank One has answers.
Does it come with a tax break? I don't know.
Let's talk. Together we'll get you what you need. A smarter loan.
Eggshell blue. That'd be pretty.
Imagine the freedom you'll have with Roundup Ready soybeans. Imagine a better way to work and manage your time. What if you had fewer boundaries? What if you had more control? What would that feel like? Find out with Roundup Ready soybeans. With Roundup Ready soybeans, you will know a freedom you have never experienced. Roundup Ready soybeans. Freedom from weeds.
If you see news happening, call Star 25 on your Sprint cellular mobile phone.
Access to information about the state of Illinois is now as close as a computer screen. Secretary of State George Ryan premiered an internet homepage to connect his office to computer users across the state. The information page allows citizens to request license plate applications and state publications by computer. It also provides maps to driver's license offices.
It opens the door to a not-so-distant future when more and more of the services provided by my office will be provided electronically.
Ryan says he hopes to expand the service to let residents with good driving records renew their driver's licenses over the internet. You can reach Ryan at his internet address on the World Wide Web at sos.state.illinois.us. Okay, got that? You got to have just a piece of paper to take down all those new numbers. You've heard that art imitates life, or is it the other way around? In any case, the student body and faculty at St. Thomas School in Peoria Heights is advancing in artistic knowledge. More on this week's Kids Nowadays.
Do you see the outline shape?
While this may not appear to be an art lesson, these St. Thomas third graders are learning about line and value, the values between light and dark and everything in between. Through grants from the Illinois Arts Council and Ronald McDonald Children's Charities, all of the students and teachers at St. Thomas will be seeing things differently and knowing that that's perfectly okay. Local artist Jenny Bateman will work 3 lessons with each class, teaching the 6 basic elements of design. Before she meets with the kids, she holds an in-service for the teachers who are often intimidated by giving art lessons.
And that's the big part of the goal, is so that when I go away, the teachers can feel comfortable, they're not afraid, because you don't have to be an artist to teach art. They're not mathematicians, yet they're teaching math. They're not scientists, yet they're teaching science. They're teaching the knowledge. And then the kids can take that from there and go and, experiment.
Many teachers have a tendency to go into craft rather than art itself. So it gives us a broader range of activities, things, process, technique that we can do.
Just the outline shape.
Jenny Bateman says for anyone, the processes of art are things you'll never forget. She encourages students, young and old, to use their eyes as tools to see what they're drawing, which will give all their work more feeling. She feels if children learn to draw, it improves so many of their other skills. A field trip to Bateman's studio is set to wind up the grant, where the kids will view her works of art.
Get really big. Use the whole big paper. This is great.
I bet she was really into it.
Boy, I can see that.
I was into the weather like Friday and Saturday. Yesterday, I wasn't interested at all.
Thumbs down, huh? It was really nice on Saturday. I mean, it's part of the day anyway. Then all of a sudden, later in the afternoon, things started to switch around. But, you know, February seems to be like that anymore. It just kind of goes back and forth. And we have been on a roller coaster this whole year, not just February. I mean, ever since October, it started out that way, and it's kind of been that way ever since. Well, we're going up a couple of days and then back down a couple. We'll tell you that in just a minute. But right now, temperatures on the outside, 27 in Peoria, 25 in the Twin Cities, 69% humidity. Winds out of the northwest. The barometer is fairly steady, and I'll see you at the maps in just a minute.
Are you the new intern?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Kind of a cost analysis. I think we're spending too much on office supplies, and I found a way to save us a lot of money.
Uh-huh. You know what? There's another project I need you for.
Okay.
This is going to save us a lot of money. Good thinking.
Thanks.
I'm almost done.
Oh, I see you've met my daughter.
Save money at Staples. Get the guaranteed low price on 6,000 items and free delivery. Staples. Yeah, we've got that.
The #1 place for home theater in Central Illinois is Team Electronics. Knowledgeable salespeople and selection keep us #1. Team Electronics in the Metro Center.
On the next episode of Seinfeld.
Let's just jump out of the car. We're doing 60 miles an hour. Who are you, Mannix?
I'm Jerry Seinfeld. He's George Costanza. He was supposed to really amazing.
Tonight following News 25 at 6. News 25's closed captioning is a community service of Health Alliance Medical Systems. The doctors you prefer, the health care plan you can afford.
How can this be Car of the Year? You can't get up and walk around in a car. Cars don't have seats on rollers. Or so many seats, period. Or so much space for so many things. And they certainly don't offer sliding doors on both sides. Well then, it would appear that for the first time ever, the Motor Trend Car of the Year is more than a car. It's a caravan from the new Dodge.
Get ready for WEEK TV's 7th annual Kids Nowadays Festival. The fantastic family event is Saturday, April 27th at the Peoria Civic Center and May 4th at Redbird Arena in Normal. A bigger-than-ever show is planned, lots of fun, entertainment, rides, prizes, and freebies. A great day for the entire family. For information on becoming an exhibitor, call Joe McGuire at WEEK 698-3728 or visit I-25 WEEK TV's internet site.
Now, Paradise Riverboat Casino presents live in concert the legendary Wayne Newton.
Thank you for all the joy and faith.
One incredible night, March 4th at Peoria Civic Center. The spectacular Wayne Newton. Reserve seat tickets as low as $19.50 include show ticket, casino cruise, and prime rib dinner buffet. Cruise and dinner coupons good through May 23rd. Make your date to come and play.
Well, it didn't get much higher than what we thought we were going to today. The old clouds and flurries rolled in, and 30 is exactly what we called for today, and that's what the high was. 27 our low this morning, giving us a mean of 29, normal's 25, so we are 4 degrees above normal for the day, but it just felt colder out there with the winds blowing in, especially when you had the snow flying in your face. 14 wind chill right now over in Bloomington, and 19 wind chill here in Peoria. There's some clear skies up north, but still a few snow showers down in the southern part of the state. 69 is our record high for today, set back in 1938, and it was 16 below zero back in 1905. Not a lot of heavy weather anywhere in the country today, which really is kind of nice for a change. Nobody is really suffering with any severe weather. We have this cloud band that's kind of rolling across the midsection of the country or over the state of Illinois now, and you can see the snow flurries disappearing. They were a little heavier earlier today, and now they're kind of moving on to the east of us here, and it looks like they're going to continue moving on. What we expect to happen is the skies actually might clear out a little bit tomorrow. At least we're hoping for it anyway. You can see lots of clear skies through the middle section of the country. And believe it or not, Phoenix, Arizona, and Los Angeles and Palm Springs, California are having rain. Even some thunderstorm activity down there, which is a little unusual. And you can see just a formation of a system up here to the north. It might be something for us later in the week. But right now it looks like this high pressure center is going to dominate for us, at least for the next day or two. There is a warm front approaching from the west. Tomorrow we should warm up into the low 40s. And then it looks like we're going to back off then later in the week. But tomorrow anyway, we're going to be up around that 40-degree mark. And look at this. The 40s, 50s, and even some 60s going all the way back up into the mountain states tomorrow. It's just not going to last very long because another system is moving in from out west that'll change things the end of the week. So enjoy it while we have it. But tonight, few flurries likely, then partial clearing overnight with our low temperature about 28. The winds at least will die down considerably overnight tonight. It'll be variable clouds tomorrow, which means some sun, some clouds with a nice 42-degree high. Then tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies, our low around 27. And on Wednesday, it'll be partly sunny and around 38. So a couple of degrees cooler there on Wednesday. But then another system starts to move across the country, and it looks like we could have a chance of snow. Now, we're not calling for any huge snowstorm, but a chance of some scattered snow showers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, with temperatures all a little below normal for this time of the year. We're supposed to be around 34 or 35 for highs, and we're not looking at that for a few more days.
Not a lot of in-between this year. Thanks, Lee. Sports is next with Lee Hall. He says Illinois State gets bit by the dogs, and it's speed racers on ice.
For all your automotive needs, let the Dennison family of dealerships serve your family. Dennison Ford, our flagship store, has over a decade of sales and service experience in Central Illinois. We offer you two of the most trusted names in the automotive business, because buying Dennison always means the lowest prices and the largest selection. And buying Ford always means unbeatable value and reliability. 5 out of 10 of the top-selling vehicles in the USA are Fords, and we sell them all. For a rewarding car buying experience, all roads lead to Bob Dennison Ford.
I've told everybody about Rosewood. After looking Rosewood over, I thought that would be the best place for her to get well quick. I say I got better. The therapy was just wonderful. You get back on your feet and get back home. Well, I can do most anything now. When you're at Rosewood, you don't only get good care, but you get well, and that's more important.
I'm Jane Pauley. Tomorrow on Dateline Tuesday, a brave firefighter, a furious blaze, then disaster struck, leaving him fighting for his life. How did he get out alive? A Dateline survivor story. Tomorrow night on NBC.
Johnny Bench for S&K's Double Play Sale.
Why shop the department stores when S&K has thousands of suits on sale? Right now, you can take home 2 S&K suits for less than you'd expect to pay for 1 department store suit. These are great-looking wool blend suits you can wear year-round, and you get 2 for under $200. So pick up your next Double Play at S&K, because if you go to a department store, you're going to strike out.
2 area locations, including our newest store at Northwestern Place in Peoria.
With the Cirrus LX, we wanted to build a car that would be the best in its class. We looked at all the competition, including the Honda Accord and the Toyota Camry. Then we set hundreds of goals and benchmarks. But our objective wasn't to duplicate these cars, it was to surpass them. And judging from all the awards, it looks like we've succeeded. But the best thing about the Cirrus LX is how much you get for how little you have to give.
It was not pretty last night.
No, it was tough. I had a front row seat, kind of tough to watch, but good news for Bradley fans. So 35 miles to the west, there was a lot of joy, I guess. Illinois State's seesaw battle with Bradley for the conference lead ends last night. The Redbirds couldn't get off the ground against Southern Illinois, and they failed to keep pace with the first-place Braves. The sharpshooting Salukis climb all over ISU like a kid on monkey bars. Shane Hawkins, Troy Hudson leading SIU to a 14-point first-half lead. The lead teeter-totters in the second half. Jamar Smiley gives the Birds their first lead of the night, 57-56.
No, I just think we came out more aggressive. We had little spurts where we were really aggressive, and then we came back lackadaisical. They got a lot of second chance. You can think back to a couple of second chance points on free throws or what have you, and they ended up hurting us at the end.
Plenty of chances for ISU to win in the final minute, but 2 fouls, 4 missed free throws, and a turnover gives Southern the regular season sweep, 74-71.
If Riley gets a loss or somebody, then we'll be right back in first. We're not out of it, and we know that, and we're just going to keep playing hard, and hopefully some teams will do some things to help us out.
The Redbirds visit Drake on Wednesday night. Bradley's at Wichita Thursday. The new AA boys poll out tonight. Manual gets 2 first-place votes. They are still second. East Peoria is 5th. And here's the best of the rest. Westinghouse drops after losing to Chicago or Friday. Richwoods is 10th. Controversy seems to follow Michael Jordan around, whether it's gambling during the playoffs or winning the MVP in Sunday's All-Star game. Jordan had 20 points after 3 quarters when writers vote for the award. Shaquille O'Neal got hot in the 4th quarter and finished with 25 points, 10 rebounds.
I felt kind of strange standing out there, an MVP trophy, and the crowd's making their own selection in the way that they certainly responded to it, and I wish I could have done anything about it, but I don't vote.
The Golden Bear will go into major tournament hibernation this summer. Jack Nicklaus says he'll play the Masters and U.S. Open, extending his consecutive major tournament appearances to 138. But unless he plays well, he'll skip the British Open. The Bear will play the PGA, then restrict his play in majors to the Masters and the 2000 British Open at St. Andrews. Dreams of the NHL, stars on ice, or a skate for the gold in the Winter Olympics, part of this story. Or maybe just a way to celebrate a school holiday. Today at Owens Center, Matt Pendergrass and the skaters of tomorrow take to the ice.
Though he's only 3 years old, James Hatala is already up on skates and has moves and skills some 23-year-old skaters don't have. James is a mini-mite hockey player. Today he had the chance to improve his speed and ability thanks to a speed racing clinic offered by the Peoria Park District. You're a pretty good skater. How long have you been skating?
Long time.
Do you like to play hockey?
Yeah.
Is that why you're taking the lessons?
We have just started it this year, and I saw it down at the ISIA World event down in Houston, and the kids had so much fun, and it crossed barriers between hockey and figure skating, so I thought I'd like to try it here.
It's important to note that this is speed racing, not speed skating, and whether or not these will be the Bonnie Blairs and Dan Jansens of tomorrow, these skaters of the future know that Brett Hull and Nancy Kerrigan even had to start somewhere.
Hockey player or speed skater. I mean, I used to do figure skating, but then I was like, I'll do hockey or speed, because I like that.
Today it was a clinic to teach the techniques of speed racing. In March, a Park District skating competition will include head-to-head speed racing for the first time. Matt Pendergrass, 25 Sports.
And finally, in case you missed it, here's the shot of the year. Arizona and Cincinnati tied at 76, but Simon says it's over. Arizona's Miles Simon, the shot of the year for the win at the buzzer. And yes, the bank was open. We've got girls regional action tonight around the area. We'll have scores and highlights tonight.
Okay, thanks, Lee. When we come back, we'll introduce you to tonight's local hero.
O'Brien Automotive Team crushes the competition. With a payment so low on the 1996 Galant S, you won't believe it. $259? Lower.
$229.
Lower.
$199?
Lower. Right now at Parkway, Pioneer Park, the new Hickory Point Auto Mall, and Prospect Mitsubishi, the 1996 Galant S is just $189 a month. Buy or lease. Your O'Brien Automotive Team crushes the competition. Galant, $189 a month.
It's Time Out, the show where contestants try to name all the times Lieutenant Governor Bob Custra voted to raise our taxes. Jack Thompson from Chicago, the clock is ticking.
I know there's a lot. Income tax, gas tax, automobile tax.
For our home audience, Bob Custra has voted to raise taxes 35 times.
Property tax again, income tax again.
Well, that's all. Stay tuned for a new comedy about a zany lieutenant governor who quits to become a radio talk show host.
Okay, it's real simple. Just call me at the number on
on your screen. And if we don't install your cable within 24 hours, you get your installation for free. It's TCI's sweetest deal. When you call, ask about our Cable Extra package. We offer a variety of channels, including 2 premium channels, Stars and Encore, for just $24.99 a month. You can also choose from HBO, Cinemax, or Disney, and get 2 for $10. So call right now. This offer good for 3 days only.
Tonight's local hero is proudly sponsored by Consolidated Communications. From vision come values.
Tonight's local hero, a giant in the meat industry, not too big to visit sick children, though. Alex the Butcher of Kroger Department Stores visited patients at the Children's Hospital of Illinois in Peoria. For over 10 years, Alex has been a representative for the store's meat department. This afternoon, he greeted youngsters at their bedsides, even made hats for them to wear. In 1995, Kroger stores in the area donated over $13,000 to the Children's Hospital. Our thanks to them, and congratulations to Alex for spending some time.
Good old Alex, huh?
Good old Alex.
Have a good evening.
Good night.
Good night.
Ford Credit announces the Great Percent Event, slashing interest rates to just 4.8% APR for 48 months, or choose $600 cash back on a purchase or $600 back on a red carpet lease. It's your choice on 10 1996 models, including Ford Taurus, Ford Contour, Ford Probe, Ford Windstar, Ford Escort, and more. But 4.8% financing or $600 cash back won't last forever. The Great Percent Event at your Ford dealer now. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Tonight on News 25 Nightside, how much do you think your house is worth? The tax man may have a different figure in mind.
In some cases, residents saw their assessments double and even triple.
It is an opinion, it is an estimate of value.
Is the tax man always right?
There are 3 types of assessment complaints that are valid.
It's how to avoid sticker shock from your own home.
We'll get the answers straight from the tax man.
Tonight on News 25 Nightside from Central Illinois News Channel.
So I was watching this movie the other night. There was a World War II movie, and there was Nazis in the movie. And I noticed that the Nazis in those movies always had like 2 separate Heils. They had like the regular Heil that they would do, and then when they were around the offices, they had like this casual Heil. Do you remember that one? You ever notice that? They come in the office, yeah, Heil, how are you? Is the kid back with the coffee yet? Come on, are you finished with the coffee? Yeah, world domination, Aryan race. So whose donuts are those? Yeah, Heil, nice to see you. Can I have one of those donuts?
I wanted the night.
You're not the only one.
Discover the woman behind the legend.
He said you have an illness.
Of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You might call it a fracture in my soul. Julia Roberts, John Malkovich. Don't you know who I am? Rated R at theaters February 23rd.
How can this be car of the year? You can't get up and walk around in a car. Cars don't have seats on rollers. Or so many seats, period. Or so much space for so many things. And they certainly don't offer sliding doors on both sides. Well then, it would appear that for the first time ever, the Motor Trend Car of the Year is more than a car. It's a caravan from the new Dodge.
It's all departures. I see nothing but departures. Do you know where the arrivals are? Yeah, excuse me, sir. Do you have the time?
There's a clock over there.
Where?
Over there.
But you have a watch on.
It's right by the escalator.
Why don't you just look at your watch?
I told you it's right over there.
Let me see the watch.
Hey! What are you, some kind of nut?
You know, we're living in a society me! Jerry.
Sorry, the flight was delayed. How long have you been waiting?
I just got here. My car broke down on the belt plug.
Oh, I can't believe. Why don't you get rid of that piece of junk?
1 mile from the exit, it starts shaking, really violently shaking, like it's having a nervous breakdown. Then it completely stopped dead.
So you have no car?
No.
So what good are you? I'll tell you one thing, this chauffeur's gonna be waiting a while. O'Brien's not showing up.
How do you know?
He was in Chicago. The flight was overbooked. They wouldn't let him on the plane. He kept screaming how he had to get to Madison Square Garden.
Should take his limo.
Yeah, right.
Wait a second. Think about it. He's not showing up. Where do you see the line for kids? It's like 45 minutes long. You said he's in Chicago?
He's definitely in Chicago.
Well, the guy's just standing there.
How would we do it?
We just go up to him. We say, "We're O'Brien."
Maybe he knows O'Brien.
No, he doesn't know O'Brien. If he knew O'Brien, he wouldn't have a sign. Let's just do it.
Well, what if we get caught?
What's going to happen? They can't kill us.
Who's going to be O'Brien?
I'll be O'Brien.
Who am I?
You.
Just me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to be you?
Well, if you're going to be O'Brien, why can't I be somebody?
Like who?
Dylan Murphy.
Okay.
What, now you want to be Dylan Murphy?
Well, I like Dylan.
You could be Colin.
Colin O'Brien.
I'm Dylan Murphy.
I'm Colin O'Brien. Are we really doing this?
Come on.
Hey, do you have the time? Clock over there. O'Brien? Yes, sir. Sorry, we're late. Here, let me take that for you. Oh, thank you. I'll get the car and I'll bring it around front. Thank you very much. Dylan?